So there are two types of people in the world. There are task-oriented people, and there are people-oriented people. So in a marriage, task-oriented people, again, are all about doing things. They want to get stuff done. People-oriented people are all about people, relationships. They're the warm and fuzzy people. Hey, honey, I love you. I love you. You sure look nice today. You love me? Because they need that. They're people-oriented. The task-oriented person says, if you love me, you do the dishes. Just do the dishes, vacuum. You know what? Why don't you vacuum every once in a while? That's where you get this dichotomy of people. I get up every day and I vacuum, and I clean the house, and then when my wife comes home, the house is all beautiful and it looks great, and then she doesn't say anything, and so now I vacuum and I do the dishes and I polish all the stuff, and now the house is looking immaculate, and then I go out and clean the van, and I replace the garage door, and I paint the house. I'm doing all these things, and my wife is like, how come you never tell me you love me? You think I like to vacuum and wash? She's like, well, yeah, obviously I thought you did. Otherwise, why would you do those things? But if she's not a task-oriented person, she just wants to know, I love you. After dinner, we put the kids to bed, and I finally sit down, and I just want to watch a little TV and talk to my wife. But she gets up and she does the dishes, and I think to myself, why doesn't she want to be with me? Here's our chance to talk, to communicate. Why doesn't she want to be with me? Because she's task-oriented. She's saying, you know what? I want to get these dishes done. I want to do this in order to show my love, and all I need is for somebody to tell me they love me. Really, genuinely, that's all I'm looking for. Why don't you want to talk to me? Why don't you want to be with me? And so that's the difference between task and people-oriented people. There's also the active and passive style. Do you want to know what the difference between active and passive styles are? Active style will borrow stuff. Passive style lends. If you remember school, if you were the guy that said, hey, can I borrow your pencil? Hey, can I borrow your pencil? You were probably an active style. You were probably a D or an I style. If you were the person that lent those pencils, you were probably the S or the C style. If in the morning you got up and you packed pencils and said, I'm going to pack a couple extra pencils just in case that somebody doesn't have a pencil, will have a pencil, you're an S style. And then the higher your S goes on that scale, you'll do things like this. I'm going to buy pencils that have a message on them, like, have a nice day, or you're wonderful. That way, when people borrow my pencils, they feel good about themselves. And so you actually special order these pencils that have these messages so that when people borrow pencils, you'd be like, oh man, I am special. As your S goes up, those are the things that you do. Then you get little funny pencils with fuzzy stuff on the top. You really want people to enjoy using the pencil that you provided for them. And it makes you feel good. You'd be like, you enjoy that pencil. Now, if you're the C style, after somebody bought your pencil and never gave it back, because you'll say, yeah, sure, you can borrow this. Where are you going to be? 7th period. Okay, I'll meet you there. Because they want their pencil back. But they'll lend it to you, but they want it back. And then after a while, when people keep taking their pencil, they're like, you know what, now you special order pencils with your name on it. John's pencil. If found, please return to, you want your pencil back. And after a while, when people keep borrowing your pencil and you don't get them back, you finally say, you know, all right, I'm not going to do this anymore. So I'm just going to bring 3 pencils because that's the minimum that I need. And so when somebody says, hey, can I borrow a pencil? You're like, I'm sorry, I can't. But you got 3 pencils there. That's what the I's saying. Like, look, you got 3 pencils there. He's like, yeah, well, this is the pencil that I'm going to use. Then my backup pencil, because if it breaks or something, I need a backup pencil. And then the emergency pencil, because God forbid something happens to the primary pencil and the backup pencil, you need the emergency pencil. And I never use the emergency pencil. It's in a glass case and I keep it right here, you know, so hopefully I'll never, ever have to use that. I can pass it on to my kids. But they will have 3 pencils, they won't lend them to you. So those are the styles, and everyone's a blend of that. If you're looking at this, if you're active and you're task-oriented, you're that D style. You're all about getting stuff done. If you're that active style, if you approach people and talk to them, but you're more people-oriented, then you're that I style. If you are people-oriented and you're passive, and so your people orientation is all about relationships and family and getting to know people, then you're that S personality style. If you're very task-oriented, but you're also passive and reserved, you're that C style, that compliant style. And again, we're all a blend of these people. And so what you're learning when you take this DISC personality style is, what's my blend look like? What does my blend look like?